Okay. Okay. I think everything's ready. How long have I been online? 2 minutes? Okay, that's not too bad. I just gotta remember to, why am I not online? Dear Creator Dashboard, why are you not online? There we go. Okay. Just gotta remember to actually, like, cut this up into, like, hour bits and not forget and have, like, a 3-hour video when I upload it to YouTube at some point in the future. So here's to trying to remember. Here's to trying to remember that. Alright. Okay, I don't even remember what I was doing. Remember I was over-leveled as hell. Remember that much. Mic in the right place. Oh, I remember. I was a moron and decided to take the hardest one before I actually got... Oh. That was unwise. This one's on 5/14. That's like 2 days from now? It's tomorrow. Okay. See, we're about to get a 4th party member, and I was stupid and decided to grind a whole bunch before I got him. No, you know what? We're gonna wait till tomorrow. I'm gonna get, like, considering we're already over-leveled anyway. So it's probably not an issue. Okay, how are we feeling? Tired. Okay. Always use that. Hello, John, 1852. Yeah, things are okay. My throat's not feeling all that great, but my throat's never feeling all that great. Did I do this in the wrong... No, I didn't. I was a little worried I did this in the wrong order again. Alright, let's go get tested on by, Crazy Alchemist Man. Nah, it's not a winter flu. I'm not, like, actually sick. Not, like, actually sick. My voice just doesn't, like, hold up very well. I wish it did. I honestly, like, wish it was better. Alright, so after school today, we need to go get something. Right, we have to go talk to, Junpei after school. Yeah, honestly, I don't know why. Like, usually I feel fine, then I, like, start talking, and my voice goes, I hope you weren't intending on doing anything important today. How's Persona? I haven't played a couple... I haven't played in a few days. Mostly because I'm the kind of person to grind a lot. Like, we're in the we've just beaten, the first boss, the priestess. The one that's on the train. So we beat the first one, and we're not supposed to be nearly the level we're at. We're already, like, loaded. We're already loaded with money. And everything else. Actually, I should probably hold on to this. I think? Yeah, I should hold on to one of these, because I'm going to have to give one to Akihiko. Honestly, the biggest problem is that, like, I grinded a little too early. So I probably shouldn't have. Like, I probably should have waited to get Akihiko before I decided it'd be a great idea to, like... I think I'm, like, level 20 right now. Yeah, I'm level 20 and it's 5:14, so we're, like, right in the beginning. It's not the right time to do that, but... Oh well. I'm not sure how much of this stuff I want to, like, buy now. It's not like I need anything. Is this open yet? June 19th. Oh, that's way in the future. Okay. I already have gems, though, so... grinding stuff? I love grinding, man. I'm the worst when it comes to grinding. I play RPGs and JRPGs. Yeah, I think for me, part of it is the grinding has to be fun.
Accepted.
Okay. No, I gotta talk to you. Okay, got the handheld game. That's good. When are you gonna be done? I don't know when he's gonna be back. This is fun. Okay, I had this talk before with people, of like... How do I put this? Of like, what's fun in grinding and what isn't. So, like, for me, I enjoy grinding in Persona. I also enjoy grinding in, like other RPGs, but there's a number of RPGs that I just don't like grinding in. This is the best way to put it, I think. That's gonna be easy to do. Actually, I should have grabbed that one, but we'll do that later. I mean, okay, so like the difference between, say, Persona and, God, what's a good example? What's a good example of it? I'm trying to think. I have the idea, it's Monster Hunter, that's what it is. So, like... so, like, Monster Hunter for me is, like, the opposite of what I enjoy, because it doesn't feel like you're doing anything. Like, I don't really like wailing on damage sponges forever. I think that's why MMOs have never really appealed to me. But I enjoy, I enjoy, oh god. I enjoy games like this where I can feel the progression, I guess is what I'm getting at. But games where you don't feel like you're progressing are like the worst for me. Alright, goat power? Yeah. Actually, I think I have... Do I have Astaroth right now? I don't think so. Pretty sure Astaroth is the goat-headed one. No, I don't have him at the moment. I thought I had Astaroth at the moment. I guess I don't. I've always wondered, why does Ghoul look like he's doing the pose from every comic book, like... You know the pinup picture of, like, comic book women? That, like, everyone kind of makes a joke about because he's showing both, like, his chest and his ass in a perspective that can't possibly be correct? That's all I see when I look at this guy. Like, he's doing that pose. I don't know why. Okay, anyway. Etcher Girl? Yep, that's probably accurate. This one? Which is where I'm supposed to be going? Yeah. Big massive sex. Thanks, school. I'm so glad. There's a good goat and a evil goat. Yeah, well.
Where have you...
Oh, wait, I was supposed to be checking something. Which date's the important day? 5/26. Okay. So that's like 10 days from now. I'm so bad at remembering stuff in this game. Like, I always forget the dates that I need to be remembering. Why is there a wolf howling in, like, Japan? Do the Japanese have wolves? Like, are there wolves in Japan? Like, in their cities? I don't think there are. Oh, God. I'm always the worst. I don't know anything about anywhere else. It's like the main problem I have. Okay, that's not good. I still want to know why going to the bathroom changes your condition. I still want to know that. God damn it, I'm only in good condition. That's not good. One of these days I'm actually going to do social links. At some point. At some point in the future. I will remember to do social links.
Welcome back.
Okay, so... It's 5:26. I suppose I can do all the social links later. Not too worried about it. And it's not like we need to grind, because I already did the grinding, so... Other than getting through the, getting everything else. Yes, Poros. Poros are wonderful. It's probably the only reason to play League. I'm so glad there's a man selling me a sword and something called a cadenza. You have 265,556 yen. Do you want to buy this for 5,000? Boars are really the only reason to play League anymore, I think. And yet I still don't bother playing League. I haven't played League in... forever. Oh wait, there's a bathroom in here. I forgot about this. I forgot there was a men's room in the area. An all-purpose katana. I never thought about that, actually. I never thought about that, you're right. I never thought that an all-purpose katana might mean, like... Katanas only have one purpose. You can't exactly, like... Like, you can't really, like... You can't really, like, do anything with a katana, except for what it's intended to do. Yeah, I'll do the MMO. You feel normal, that's boring. Oh, God. Get through that. Alright, boys and girls, here's your all-purpose katana. You can use it to eat, or you can kill that guy next to you who's annoying you. Oh, God. Okay, now I have to remember all these answers to things I didn't remember before. Let's be real. Let's all just admit that a katana has exactly one purpose. And I poop on it. Well, you could, but it's not... That's not using it for a purpose. Exactly. I mean, I guess it's technically, if you pooped on it, it would be like a poop holder or a bidet or whatever. But I don't think it would work very well for that. Probably. I mean, kind of a waste of a perfectly good sword. Use it on someone? I believe that's what the rogue does. Isn't that called poisoning your weapons? Not just like applying poison to a weapon. honestly. Like hell I know Japanese geography. This is in English, I don't know any of that shit. Oh good, somebody sent me an all... Don't you think somebody would question why an all-purpose katana got sent to me in the mail? Along with something that can only be used by personas? Yay, we finally got our 4th member, because I did all the grinding beforehand. You feel like you did well, which means I probably did horribly. I remember that. I remember that from school. Leaving a test going, yeah, I nailed everything, and then you get it back, and you're like, nope. Nope. Not at all. That's 3 days from now. Alright, time to poop. I don't even remember who told me about this. About the fact that the toilet gives you, like, the chance to get better stats. Or be in better condition. I don't know. I don't know who told me that originally. Okay, you know, at some point, I'm eventually going to, I think it's open right now. No. I mean, I could be in great condition, but why? I thought there was another place I could work. Well, it's Saturday, so... Vaguely remember something. No, don't go back there. Can I go in here? I don't think there's really a reason to do that. I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, why not? Documentaries, that's probably going to raise my academics, which I totally don't need right now. Of course, now I raise my academics. After the midterms. Okay. Skip all of this. Skip all that. Hi, are you back in the team yet? Are you on the team yet or not? I don't know. How do I check to see if... That should be easy. Can I equip you yet? Oh god. Oh god. You are way lower level than everybody else. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, well we're gonna do... quickly go and, okay, so we're gonna go and buy stuff for him, because apparently, he's just, like, not equipped at all. Oh wow, there's... What's up? Hello, chat. How are you today? Normally I would never buy things from the store, and yet it looks like the store has like a ton of good items right now. So... Any store? Oh! I'm okay, all things considered. I'm about to go and grind. Mostly because I kind of need to. Yay, welcome back, everybody. Just remind me in like 40 minutes that I'm supposed to, I need to stop recording and then start recording so I don't upload like a 5-hour video to YouTube. Alright, everybody gets combat boots. Nothing like a large group of people, all of whom are wearing bright red armbands, carrying guns, and wearing combat boots. Sure, that's normal. Just a normal school club, nothing to be concerned about. Normally I would not buy all this stuff, but considering it's like way better than why is this 100 grand? What on earth? It's a butler outfit for him, but it's actually not as good as the best equipment that we already have. You know what? I'll probably spend money on that later when I ground. What's the plural of grinding? What's the plural of grinding? Grinded? Grind? Ground? I don't know. You know what I mean. After I've done all the grinding and I'm like actually... Okay, so that only cost me about half of all of my money. Ground? Yeah, maybe. Okay, now on one hand I should probably give him thunder bracers. Yeah, you know what, we'll give him thunder bracers because it uses electricity, so... Oh god, there's all this shit. So basically my problem is that at the moment... So I did all my grinding before I got Akihiko. And the problem with doing that is it means that all my main characters are like level 20 or so. I think Junpei's actually level 19, but my Yukari and my main character are both level 20. And we just got Akihiko and he's level 12, so... Yeah, I don't think the game was expecting us to... What does this even do? Cures fatigue. Do we... Okay. And whatever. Okay, we got all the items we'll ever need. Wait a minute, aren't you... Okay, anyway. So we definitely need to, like... This is on normal difficulty. I would do, higher levels of difficulty, but considering this is, like, the first playthrough on this file, I don't really want to, I wasn't gonna bump it up to, like, insane difficulty. Now, I want to see your persona. Okay, you have healing and 1 Zeo. Oh, I could have sworn that his persona was Caesar. Huh. Okay. I'm just crazy then. Oh well. Okay, well if everyone's good... Oh wait, no, I'm gonna check. I made this mistake before where one time I went, and they were like, yeah, everyone can go, and then I showed up and everyone was exhausted. And I was like, oh. Wasted a night doing that. Alright, let's go to Tartarus. And that's Caesar? Yeah, I thought that was Caesar. No, Caesar's the evolution. Okay. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. I could have sworn yours was Caesar. Alright, we'll save really quickly. I always wondered about that, because, like, the whole thing about this game is Greek mythology. So, like, the whole thing Like, the whole theme of this game is Greek myth, and yet his persona is Caesar, who's a Roman, not Greek. I always wondered about that. Like, all your guys have Greek myth personas. Your main character has Orpheus, and, you know, Junpei has Hermes. Come back here. Come back here and die for my experience points.
Be careful. The enemy's weakness is...
I could probably just, like, speed this.
Remain. Get him!
Like, I could probably just, like, speed, like, rush this and kill them
Another
all, but...
enemy defeated. Good job.
I realize they spend a whole lot of, like, data and space having the main character say the names of every single persona in the game. Oh, good. The first, that's a good, what's the word? Omen? When the first experience thing summons death. That's wonderful. Take the shitty item and go from there. Now, at the moment, I just need to get to the second document. By the way, how's the sound? Too loud?
That was easy.
Too loud? Am I being drowned out? One random quote from the main character? Wait. I actually did not see that shadow there. Turn down a bit? That's what I was thinking.
3 enemies present. Don't get careless.
Just from looking at, like, the sound thing. I don't remember what these guys are weak.
Enemy is weak. Take the enemy down.
I don't know if it was just loud for me or...
One more.
Please stop killing him. I kind of need him alive for things. Mostly to take more damage. We did not see that shadow Minato. Yeah, that's about accurate. Like, I legit did not see it, and I don't think it saw me either. So, I guess we're even? You know, if I really want to power level Akihiko, I could just, like... I could have just taken him and no one else. But I feel like that would be a bad idea.
One. The enemy's weak. Take the enemy
What if we
down.
just stab it to death?
Okay.
Okay. I'm a little disappointed that in the PSP version, you can't just use whatever weapon you want. You have to use katanas.
3 enemies detected. Strike first.
So don't burn the bread. We need the bread. Oh, so thank you for saying I have a nice voice. I'm always like really self-conscious about my voice. I'm always like super self-conscious about my own voice.
One more. Just one more.
Who's the man?
I probably shouldn't be self-conscious, but I am. I don't know why. I think I've always been. Okay, we still got a power level Akihiko a bit. These are going to be a little slow on this.
3 enemies detected. They appear distracted.
Lots of people are. Yeah, I guess you're right.
One more.
I think part of me is more self-conscious about what I'm streaming. Or like what I'm putting on, because I'm like, oh man, I can't just start in the middle of a game. You can't just start a game and then like in the middle of it, no one's gonna know what's going on. And I'm like, that's a terrible mentality, because you'll never start anything. Very few games you can play in one sitting. Except for like roguelikes.
Take the enemy down.
Even then roguelikes, I'm like, usually not very good at. I'm really hoping we'll start getting some experience cards so that we can like speed this up a little bit. I really don't want to be like grinding for 3 hours after just to get Akihiko to the like correct level. Oh good, hands.
3 enemies. Fire. The enemy's weak.
Oh
3
good.
enemies remain.
I should also probably stop
Yes, excellent.
using my main character to get all the experience. Actually, it really don't matter if it's
Enemy
SP.
defeated. Good job.
Okay, for one thing I really don't understand about the PSP version, like, as far as I can tell, your characters don't get tired. Like, they get tired after. Oh good, EXP floor, that's good. Like, they get tired after, that's how you know you're overpowered, when you just, like, one-shot everything. No, anyway, so your guys get tired, like, afterwards, like, after the next day and everything, when you leave, but they don't get tired from the amount of time you're in the dungeons, like they do in the FES PS2 version. Do the big cheat move? Hope not. I mean, there are ways to get around,
Can you use?
I don't know what order he moves in. No, stop that.
3 enemies remain.
Yes, keep attacking her. Keep doing no damage.
Couldn't finish it off.
Wait, oh, I forgot to turn him off. I always forget about this. 'Cause that's new for this game, so... Actually, we don't really need to worry about it now. Yeah, the FES version, you can't actually, like, order them around correctly. They just do whatever they want. Now, not that I'm not glad. I'm certainly glad that, I'm certainly glad that they decided... There we go. Certainly glad that they decided to, like, add P4's battle system.
3
It's ice,
the
right?
enemies-
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm so glad that they,
3 enemies remain.
allow me to, like, choose everybody's attacks.
You struck the enemy's weak point.
But, they didn't rebalance the game. So,
Yes.
in some ways, the game's much easier.
Attack.
Again, how long did it take them
Enemy is
to have the main character in 2 languages, like, record all of the sound, like, all of the names of the personas? I wonder if I have this guy or not. I will say one thing it's a little bit of a negative over this game is that you just kind of welcome personas into your heart. Like, I'm not a huge fan of negotiation in the earlier games, but the fact that you just kind of, like, get personas, a little weird to me. Is it a little loud still, or is it just me?
A complete victory.
I don't feel like I'm getting more experience on this floor. Now we good? Alright, I'm glad we're good. Glad we're good. I'm always, like, paranoid about that.
3. The enemy.
I don't know why I'm so paranoid about that.
3 enemies remain.
God damn it. Oh, good. Perfect.
That's how it's done.
Can we just talk about the fact for a second that this entire game is about being someone other than yourself and shooting yourself in the face? They don't explain how the evokers work or why they're in the shape of a gun. That's one thing I realized. They just never explain that.
I've been waiting for
They
this.
just kind of hand you a gun and go, okay, put this in your forehead and pull the trigger. And it will summon the demon. Okay. Are you gonna explain to me how this works? No. At no point did they explain how the evokers work or why they're the shape they are. I feel like that should be explained. I don't know. Triggers psychological effect your brain thinking you're dying. Well, yeah, I get that. Like the idea that you're killing yourself
One
to
enemy
become
detected.
someone
It
else.
seems to have.
Like I get that, but
A wisely chosen
remember, this is a
attack.
game where your main character is essentially described as being zero, as in nothing. So it's a game where your emo main character, who is described being like the number 0,
One enemy
shoots himself in
remaining.
the face repeatedly because he's killing himself to summon somebody else.
I've been waiting for this.
I feel like there's some like problems with that idea. I don't know. I feel like that's one of those things where like I like the game, but there's a whole lot of things in this game that make me like question their design choices just for this game. I mean, it's already a little weird that, you know, your main group of characters join a secret
3 enemies
organization where they hand
Don't
you
get
a
nervous. The enemy. 3 enemies remain.
where they hand you a red armband and a gun and say, "Welcome to our secret organization." I don't know. To me, that's a little on the nose, I guess. I don't know. I feel like that's one of those things where, like, in America, you would not do that. That has certain connotations in America. So, like, you know, I feel like that would only get away in Japan.
Good job, Iori. Only one more.
Again, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but there's a lot of things in this game that have that feeling to it, where I'm like, I know that's not what you're intending, but it comes off way wrong. Then again, there's a lot of weird things in this game. Nope, come back here, you stupid golden thing. You dick.
2 enemies detected.
I do want to know, though, who designed all these, like, shadows. Like, why a table?
Who's the man?
Why a table? It was like, yeah, that sounds like a good enemy. Let's just have a table, a bunch of things flying around on top. Yeah, that makes sense. Why are we in what appears to be... Crap, what's that game? God, what's that game? It's with the face. It's like one of the biggest, like, sci-fi horror games of all time. System Shock. That's what I'm thinking of. Why are we in System Shock?
One more.
That's what I think of when I see that face. Like, I think, oh, we're in System Shock. And, can you believe Akihiko still hasn't leveled up yet? Please give me experience. No. Stop giving me shitty weapons. Give me experience. God damn it. I know I'm like way high level, but come on, man. Everything's already afraid of me. Listen to you. I need your experience. Let me grind you up into little meat chunks like I need to. It's a good sign when all your main characters can just one-shot everybody. I suppose what I could do is just immediately run upstairs, but I keep hoping there's going to be, like, better enemies or something.
3 enemies detected. They appear distracted. There are 2 left.
Get him!
Also, I was looking around of like
Another
speed runs or everything in these games. So funny enough, the speed run of Persona 4 is only like 11 hours comparatively, which sounds like a lot until you remember that the speed run of like Persona 5 at the moment is 18 hours, which is finally Akihiko leveled up. Only 7 more levels to go. And like the speed run of Persona 3, I think, is something like 16 hours or so? Something like that. I was also realized that there's not a whole lot of speedruns for the earlier games. Like, the Shin Megami Tensei games do not have speedruns for them, except for Nocturne, ironically. I don't know why Nocturne, one of the hardest games in the series, has a vibrant speedrun community. I guess some people hate themselves? It's the best way I can describe it. Because the speedrun of that game is something like 16 hours or something. I can't imagine speedrunning Nocturne for 16 hours. Last time I played that, I was like... Probably with all the grinding, I was still probably 12 hours in, and I was still in like the second area. So I'm trying to imagine what it would be like to try and speedrun that over and over again. Though I did watch one for what are they called? The Devil Summoner games? It's the one where it's like they decide to make Shin Megami Tensei a third-person action RPG. Best way I can put it.
3 enemies present.
It's the one where you play as Radu and like have all these out-of-bounds effects, and the story makes no sense. Although that's kind of par for the course.
Another enemy defeated. Good job. Nice.
There we go.
That was easy.
I will say I kind of like that. Like, I kind of like the battling in that game, because it's a little fun to have an action RPG elements to it, but the actual, like, rest of the game isn't very good. I do like that it's set in, like, 1910. Which I think so. Are you guys weak to fire?
Yes, excellent attack.
I really should just, like, leave Yukari and Junpei behind and divide the experience 2 ways instead of 4 ways.
Wow, another enemy defeated.
Hey, welcome back. You didn't miss too much, other than me, like, complaining about how,
Wisely chosen attack. Here's our chance for an all-out attack.
complaining about how the speed runs of all the, like, Persona games are insanely long. Also, there's, like, 40 SMT games, apparently. Oh, finally, an experience thing. What do you think you should do? Uh-oh. If the answer is you want me to speedrun Nocturne, I'm not speedrunning Nocturne. Level up a certain member. Is the certain member the one that dies horribly? Because I'm not leveling him up again. Oh, don't worry, I'll probably end up leveling all of them. It's usually what I do. And I know if I took them out of the party, it would divide it 2 ways instead of 4, which I should probably be doing.
Wow, another enemy defeated. 1 left.
It's kind of a better idea. Nocturne on hard mode. The thing about Nocturne is you have to basically, I guess the thing you should put about Nocturne is that you're basically just grinding. Like, that's the secret of Nocturne. I actually think that Nocturne on its own is easier than Persona 1. Not in the sense that, like, Not in, like, just in the mechanics. Not in the sense of, like the game itself and the levels you have to hit. Because if you just were, like, playing casually, it's way harder. Nocturne's way harder. In terms of, like, mechanics, of, like, how the game, like, actually plays and what it expects you to do, I think Persona 1's actually more difficult. Because you don't have... Like, in Nocturne, you don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about positioning or anything like that. You don't have to worry about, like... You don't have to worry about, like, 8 or 9 different kinds of skills. You basically just have to worry about, like, a very few amount and making sure that you know what bosses and what enemies are weak to what. And as long as you know that, you're fine. But Nocturne's basically a game about grinding. That's the long and short of it. Which I don't mind. I will say that... No, it's not Nocturne, it's, no, it is Nocturne. Nocturne hard mode speedrun is only about 11 hours, I think. I've actually watched the hard run speedrun. It took me about 5 days, because I usually watch those when I go to sleep. Yeah, I should definitely take Yukari and Junpei out of the party. Yeah, don't forget about debuffs and buffing. Yeah, that's true. Although even those work better in Nocturne than in Persona 1. Persona 1 you can only use them once. In Nocturne you can do it up to 4 times. That can be good.
Way to go, Yucatan! Okay.
I will say that I think in terms of leveling up, like in terms of like certain bosses you can't exploit bosses. Yeah, that's true. But the other thing about Nocturne is that like the leveling up system is easy. Like all you have to do is kill things and that levels you up. Whereas in Persona 1 you have 4 different things you need to level up. And it's like so Persona 1 you have your level, you have your Persona level to level up.
Be careful. The enemy is...
And then you have the Persona rank. So the Persona rank you have to actually like use the Persona in battle, which is different from your Persona level. It's different from your level. It's all a bit of a clusterfuck.
The enemy is vulnerable.
And yeah, you're right.
It's my turn!
You're right. Like, there's a lot of things in Nocturne that it's based around the idea that you know things going in.
3 enemies remain.
Like, Nocturne's based around the idea that, like, you have a strategy to it. It's the best way I can describe it. Which probably isn't the right thing. But, again, it's basically predicated on the notion that, like, Nocturne's based on the notion that you know everything going in, and you plan accordingly. And if you haven't done that, it expects you to grind, essentially, constantly. Whereas in Persona 1, it's all based around making sure all of your levels are correct. So rather than have, like, one single thing you need to rank or level up, you have 3. And they're all different and use different levels of experience.
4 enemies detected. They appear distressed.
I would say the closest thing is actually another game that I actually kind of like, and that's Digital Devil Saga. Because Digital Devil Saga has 2 things, like it has your level, and then it has, like, you choose to go on, like, a path, and you say, okay, I want to level up, like, I want to build a character around, say, fire abilities. And so you level up, like, a demon skill, and that gives you fire abilities. And you say, okay, now I want to get, like, buff abilities. And you can switch the abilities and the skills out as needed. So you can basically build every character however you want. Now, the storyline is complete nonsense in those games, in Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2. But I think the character building in those games is the best. Like, I really like the,
The enemy.
I just
Take
killed
the
them.
enemy down.
Or we could miss. We could do that too.
Last one.
Now, I will say, one of the reasons I'm, like,
Everything's
not
going according to plan.
playing Persona 1 right now is because I uploaded Persona 1, like my last stream of it, to YouTube, and it immediately got, what's it called? It got flagged by Atlas, basically. It basically got content ID'd, essentially, by Atlas.
3 enemies.
So Atlas was like, hey,
One more. Take the enemy.
we own the copyright to this game, and I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, this is a remake of, this is a remake of a game that's 20 years old. The game's 20 years old. More than that, actually. The game came out in, like, 1990. The original game came out on the NES, and is re-released on the PSP. Not the NES, the Super NES. Don't run away, you bastard. Fuck. And they were like, yeah... I should also point out that it didn't tell me what it was claiming. It just gave me a claim, but the claim was in Japanese. And so I actually have no idea what they were actually
Pull yourself
claiming.
together.
I suppose I could put it into Google Translate and figure it out, but since that channel of mine doesn't have enough, like, views or subscribers to, like, actually be monetized... Porta was that you can't play the answer? No, I don't think that's a negative, honestly. Because the answer isn't much better, isn't exactly all that good. I mean, it's not bad, but the answer just kind of throws out all of the character development that all of the characters go through in the main game. And also, it doesn't really help that if you have a game and you need an epilogue for the game, and the epilogue does not explain anything. How did I miss that?
A surprise attack. There are 4 of them.
God damn it. Come on, guys.
Watch me in
Like-
action.
So in terms of character development, it like, screws over. One of the things that the problem with the answer is that it goes, like... So in Persona 3, Yukari's whole arc is, like...
2 more left.
Like, Yukari's whole arc in Persona 3 is that she's, like, trying to get over her father dying when she was younger, and she's like, okay. So by the end of the game, she, like, accepts this and goes, yes, my father is dead, and this is a bad thing, and I'm sad about it, but I can move on from this. And it's like, okay, good. But then the answer comes out, and her immediate reaction upon, like, hey, let's go back in time and, you know, create a time paradox where no one died, thus erasing all of us from existence. And everyone else basically has to force her to not destroy reality. Because they're like, hey, yeah, you could do that, and then Nyx would come back and murder all of us. And she's like, yeah, that's true. That would be a problem. And we're like, yeah, that's why we're not going to go do that, because, you know, Nyx would come back and murder all of us. And that's a pretty good reason why we're not going to go change the past. But apparently whoever wrote the Answers storyline did not bother to actually, like, play through Persona 3. And yeah, the gameplay's not bad. But it's basically just more Persona 3. If that makes sense. Like, the answer's not bad it's, in terms of gameplay, but it's basically just an entire dungeon dedicated to...
Another enemy defeated.
I mean, honestly, that's one of my criticisms, I guess, of this game, is that, like, halfway through the game, the dungeon runs out. And then the game, like, devolves into, really bad anime for a while. Do you not pay attention to the answer story? You don't pay attention to the answer story? Because the answer story is weird. I mean, I know Persona 3 is weird. Okay, no. So basically what happens in the answer Okay, so here's how this works. In Persona 3, basically the whole story is Death becomes a real boy. And he's like, I'm gonna end the world because I feel like it, and it's my destiny, and all these other terrible, like, tropes that for some reason have been written into the game. And so he's like, I'm gonna destroy everything, and I'm gonna become the avatar of Nyx. And then he does, and then you kill Nyx and seal Nyx up, so your main character becomes a door. And he's the door locking Nyx away, because Nyx is going to destroy the Earth. Because she wants to, I guess. I don't really know why she wants to destroy everything, other than the fact that she does. In any case, so that's how that ends. The answer, however, has your main character being divided up into 4 different people, and instead of using the main character of Persona 3, the main character is Aegis, the robot girl. And so she's now the main character, and basically everybody goes through these dungeons to find different pieces of the main character to re-put everything back together. And if I remember correctly, the whole thing is started because Kronos does something. But basically they all have the option to go back in time and stop things.
3 remain.
Yeah.
One more.
Death's a real boy. Death becomes a real boy. It's not as interesting as I think they intended it to be. But
You're better than I thought.
so in any case, they all have the option essentially to open the door, like, because obviously your main character has now become a door, and they're all kind of real sad about that. That, you know, the main character who they spent all this time with has been turned into the seal on a door to keep Nyx from destroying the universe. And they're like, well, that's really bad. Maybe we should open the seal. And they're like, well, if we did that, we would all go back to the way things were. And they're like, well, that's a great idea. And then, no. They're like, no, that would be a terrible idea. Because everyone would die horribly. And yeah, so that's basically the answer. It's an epilogue that makes as little sense as the main story it's an epilogue to. That's, takes some doing. I mean, let's be honest. The reason why Persona 4 is better liked, I think, than Persona 3, well, aside from the fact that Persona 4's battle system is better and, like, has more dungeons to do and the dungeons are shorter, I think the reason why Persona 4 is more liked is because the storyline isn't incomprehensible. Like, I mean, there's still aspects of the incomprehensible storyline in,
3 enemies present. Don't be scared.
like, there's still aspects of the incomprehensible storyline in Persona 4, like, what's her name? God, what's her name?
3
it's the Japanese goddess or whatever who touches people and turns them into serial killers. In Persona 4. But anyway, the real thing is that it's all very localized. You go into a TV and you save people repeatedly. And that works as a storyline, because it's a whodunit sort of storyline. It's all very localized till the end, when all of a sudden it turns into a story about a goddess trying to end the universe.
There's only one
For reasons.
Here's our chance. Let's get him.
And Persona 3 is kind of similar, because it starts up from the premise of what if there was an extra hour between midnight and 1 a.m.? And that works for like halfway through the game, and then Death becomes a real boy, and then the whole thing becomes nonsense, essentially. The whole thing kind of falls off a cliff, and the storyline becomes like anime standard tropes, and the whole thing stops making sense. Persona 5's similar in that regard, where like the whole thing starts off as like, you're thieves and you steal stuff from terrible people. So it's the noble thief sort of archetype, and then the end of the game rolls around and all of a sudden the Holy Grail wants to end all reality. Because humans apparently are terrible people. It does not explain how, like, stripping millions and billions of people of their free will is any better, but the Holy Grail apparently says it in Yeah, that's the weird thing, is like, I feel like a lot of the Persona games are written by two groups of people, and then they shove the two games together. Like, there's the same people who write the normal story and the day-to-day interactions and all the social links and all the things that people like. And then there's, like, the other guy who's in the background going, and then they fight God, right? Because every single one of these games ends with them fighting God. For some reason. Wait 1 second, I need to make sure to stop the recording and then restart. Because it's been an hour.